I ride with you then, bring the troops in.
I fuck around and let them loose then.
We'll give them blues then.
Fucking call me Bobby Blue.
How's it going, guys? This is gonna be a little bit different video than when I normally record for album reactions. What happened was my Eminem reaction was pretty much banned from all countries, so no one can watch it, probably because of UMG taking it down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have pretty much a review analysis section, and then I will edit in some of my reactions due to some highlights in these songs. So what I'm reviewing right now is Brockhampton's Iridescence album, which is their fourth album, the discography, without Amir Van. It was he was kicked out due to some sexual allegations before they were about to drop Team Effort, Puppy. Those were postponed. And now we having this new trilogy that was coming up, the best years of our lives trilogy. And I was looking forward to this album, but I wasn't as hyped from the other Saturation trilogy. Just knowing that, you know, a lot of people actually love Amir like I did. But this is just to see like how will they perform. And based on my initial listenings, and then after 2 or 3 days of listening to this album, I gotta say though, despite I really don't like saying this is the weakest album to date for me. However, I think that a lot of fans will love this album. Probably will be their best album for them in the entire discography, because I will say this album is totally experimental. This is like, imagine you get fucking Saturation 3 and Yeezus from Kanye West, and you make this is the album you would probably get. Anyone would be saying like, this is really polarizing. You got people that love this album, you got people that dislike it or hate it. And it's like Yeezus in a way. It eventually got a cult following because of its really weird technical sounds. And this album is pretty much influenced by these European dance music, because it's kind of influenced by like rave music and dance music in general. A lot of these beats on this album are all over the place. They're unpredictable. Song structures all over the place. You got a bunch of shifts into a different sound, or they would just add. I call this like album just progressive, because there's so much layering that's added on to the track as someone would listen to this, you know, continues to listen to a single song. I would say that pretty much like in Berlin, Wade's another good example of that. Fabric, San Marcos, all these tracks build up the sound a little bit, or changes it with a beat switch. And these are like really amazing highlights for this album. So I'm gonna pretty much give a track on track review. So the first one, New Orleans, is an amazing opener. Pretty much I got everyone, and even a fucking random ass guest appearance from Jaden Smith. You know.
I've been down too long, cousin. I've been down too long, brother. Tell the world I ain't scared nothing. Tell the world I ain't scared jumping. Tell my boy I want a crib in London. Tell the world stop tripping now. Build a different house.
Is that Jaden? It has a little verse in there. It was really like bassy ass instrumental. It's very dark, and he was like some type of like siren or whistling throughout the entire track. Is that Bareface? Yeah, it's fucking Bareface rapping. It's really caught my attention. The second track actually transitions smoothly from the first track. It's called Thug Life. What the fuck? It just transitioned perfectly, and it has really like just your typical angelic vocals from fucking Bareface. Oh shit. And I believe that it's a verse from Dom, but they really like experimented with his voice a lot throughout this album.
So I face in my reflection. Depression still not right. I guess I'm always accepting.
There are some cases where he just raps normally, but they usually do some modifications, primarily to like Kevin Abstract, and even due to Merlin Woods on one point in the album, which caught me off guard hard. I feel like it's probably in Honey or Vivid. Where they actually did that shit to him. But this is an example when they kind of like really like high pitched his voice pretty gotcho. But the song, although it's short, you know, Bareface has his fucking beautiful singing voice on this track. It's definitely a highlight. Berlin, the third track, is kind of forgettable. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the hook that Kevin performs here is very off to me, but the transition to the second part is pretty amazing, and this is, I guess, the other definition, like the other like level of progression in this song that I admired.
This is hella experimental though. I thought Saturation 3 was fucking weird. This is Tonya taking now. Woo. Okay, I thought my speakers just blew the fuck up from that.
However, I don't know if I won't see myself going back to it, and I feel like I would get like how you say, I will eventually like it at some point. It will grow on me, but as of right now, from the previous listenings, I'm not really feeling Berlin. I would probably say it's the weakest track on this album. And then same thing with something about him. It's easily forgettable. It's a minute and 30-minute track. It's a cute like verse from Kevin Abstract. I still feel like some of the vocal performances needed some work.
I really like how you do all the things you do. I really like all the things that you really say. I really like how you move.
Not bad. Not bad. I think it was just an interlude to it. Kind of off to me. But however, the next track, which I thought would be another interlude, Where the Cash At, is a primarily Merlin Wood track. Kind of like I was mentioning in the reaction that it kind of reminded me of like where all the subsequential members of Brockhampton had their own like song or sound back when they dropped the mixtape All American Trash. Again, we actually got like a Merlin focused track. We haven't got something like this since fucking All American Trash. But in this track in particular, you have Merlin Wood having a verse, he's performing the hook, and then you also have Matt Champion performing ad-libs, being like the hype man for Merlin, and he has a verse too. It's very minimalistic with the beat, but it's a hard hitter. Then we go into probably one of the most emotional tracks on this album, which is Wait, and it details a lot about their, like, you know, they feel like they have a lot of weight on their shoulders from their problems and demons that they experience. Kevin has one of the best buzzes on here, especially the where he mentioned about, oh, he met a girl when he took her bra off, he got his dick soft.
Every time she took her bra off, my dick would get soft. I thought I had a problem. Get my head inside a pillow, screaming.
It caught me off guard, and I was just like, damn, dude, like, that's pretty gotcha. And then each member also has their own stories. Especially love Joba's verse a lot on this track.
This is a nice contrast to the somber piano melody. There's like the frantic drums, snare drums, pretty going on.
It was very chilling, to be honest, listening to it. It's definitely a highlight. District is probably one of the hardest tracks on here and the most disjointed. However, it's an amazing song, to be honest, and it pretty much took me off guard. It's like a similar sound to like New Orleans and Berlin, with these weird experimental sounds. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I perform some of these songs, man.
face, no strike, rewind, don't slice it with my own with a better life. I want a better life, been around the corner one.
Oh, fuck.
In my bag, in the farm, moving on, move along, then my farm moving fast, like let's get into a hog. Got back on the road,
Don't stop.
Like, I think what allows this album to be so good is unpredictability, and the song structure is all over the damn place. And everyone had the similar experience whenever they listened to Saturation 1, 2, and 3, because you didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen, what the song's gonna sound like. This one was just all over the place. As soon as like we heard that, you know, Amir was not gonna be on here, because he was he left the group. I didn't know like how they would, you know, perform this and how people would react to it. And a lot of these songs, they were just really off the wall, but they consider the most abrasive project to date, which I can agree upon. But yeah, District still is fucking amazing. I think this is the one where fucking Joba was like saying like, praise God, hallelujah, I'm still depressed. Fuck.
Praise God!
No.
Hallelujah! I'm still depressed. At war with my
Oh,
conscience.
fuck.
Damn. And you know, everyone's pretty much psychotic in this. The next song, Tape, grew on me a lot, mainly because of the beat and then the drums added to it. It's one of the most calming songs in this entire album. And actually I did some research, and apparently the song actually samples one of my favorite bands. I don't know, you see right there? It's Radiohead. They sampled in Rainbow's Beatle Tape, which is the final track of that album. And the Beatle Tape was really depressing because, and what's crazy about it is that the entire album in Rainbows is pretty much very happy in nature, and then you just get hit with this and just like, oh shit, this sucks. It sucks. But like, anyways, back on to the song itself. Tape is it's very chilling. You have very introspective verses from pretty much Matt Champion, Joba, Kevin Abstract, Dawn. It's really really chilling. This is kind of like, I would compare this to Wait. While Wait being more experimental, Tape is a little bit more realistic, I would say.
I'm showing, but truthfully, the words that damage just fooling me. But even more cruel to be, this you in front of niggas that pay to hear me. The TikTok speeding down the one way. Fuck these signs, fuck these lights, put my life on the line. When it's getting size up, I be on butterfly face. Fuck it, I'll be myself now. Tell him I take no shit now.
Nice that they implement a lot of like orchestra music into the new sound.
And we got the single, one of the singles, I guess you can say, is Jovert. This song fucking hits hard. Holy shit. With the video itself, it kind of goes with this demo camera vision vibe, which is the entire, like, I guess, theme work of the album. And you have one of the most, probably the best verse from Joba ever. Because he's literally like, think of this. You seen Joba, crazy ass Joba in fucking Heat. You seen his ass in fucking Boogie, screaming his lungs out. This shit he raps with such audacity. He's so fierce in this verse, man.
Money in the suitcase, way to the bank, I'm in white gloves, wood grain, money in the suitcase, on my way to the bank. Misunderstood since birth, fuck what you think, fuck what you heard, hey, you fake motherfuckers, think I'm too real, excuse me.
Chilled ass Merlin Wood verse. Except for his fucking excuse me, let me pass ad-libs in the background. Damn!
Especially the line that I was just like, it's crazy what he goes at. Not to mention that it's contrasted to Merlin Wood's chilled out rapping style he has been here. And another thing that also took me by surprise, and I forgot to mention in New Orleans, is that you got Bareface actually has like a bridge or a verse, and he's actually rapping. we don't see that often. The first time we seen him was actually in Tonya with this little song, this little melodic flow that he was using. But this one was like, feels like an actual like fucking like an actual rap verse. And this is like one of the best produced tracks on here, and I think it was by Jabari Monroe that actually helped that produce majority of this song track, which is amazing. Honey is very it's very odd because I'm not a big fan of the first part. However, when it transitions to these chop and screw slowish part in the second half, it's amazing. It samples a song from Beyonce, and it actually samples Mad Champion's verse from fucking Saturation 1 Bump, and it goes nicely. It's probably one of the best sounding tracks in this entire album.
Always open, your fears always rolling, and it deep and you can't control it. What you want? I know you're racist to get it rich, my nigga.
They just fucking sample Bump. Vivid's very forgettable to me. It's also like it's kind of like a little mini Spanish verse from Mad Champion. It's kind of like what the first part could have been in Honey, a little bit better, but again, it's like very forgettable, very short track. San Marcos, which is a callback to San Marcos, Texas, is a very stripped down acoustic ballad, I would say. It even has the London choir singing the hook or the chorus of the song, which is amazing. For me reacting to it, dude, I almost cried because how emotional this song was. This one pretty much is the emotional peak of this entire album.
It's getting that time. We're getting the really depressing songs again.
Could be stronger than vibranium. Don't mean that I ain't fragile. Grapple with realities. Suicide thoughts, but I won't do it. Take that how you want. It's important, I admit it. I'm afraid of commitment. Don't know how to fix it. I want more. I want more. I want more out of life.
Then you get Tonya, which is the first track that they actually dropped. They were performing live in Jimmy Fallon's, and I really enjoyed the live performance, and I fuck with this new like digital I guess album version a lot better. It sounds cleaner. I love fucking Bareface took the show. Fucking Merlin's verse is amazing. Dom is like poetic as usual, and then fucking Kevin, you know, everyone's saying that this is pretty much about their, I guess, kind of all the shit that's happened towards them, probably even with Amir leaving, especially with Kevin's verse. He tells it a lot. He's like, I feel like my brothers lied to me so my feelings don't get hurt. That shit hurts. And then finally we got Fabric, which is I already knew it was gonna be like another introspective track, but the fucking chorus is amazing. And then I like at the end is like the fucking drums get progresses a lot. It changes from like a fucking and then just like boom 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 boom, and then you just sing, you don't understand why I can't get up and shout. I fucking love that part so much. You even got like some spooky aspects from it, from fucking Joba, and Bareface has a little like distorted voice verse for him, which is very depressing.
Don't mind me, I'm just killing time. You can pick me to pieces, but if you got a life, time I see this shit, I wanna kill myself. And they coming for my mother, sending bullets for my head, make me free enough.
Well, especially Joel's line was like, "Don't mind me, I'm just killing time." Reminded me of like again, Radiohead's fucking True Love rates from fucking Moon Shaped Pool, and then so it has like a lot of aspects that are kind of depressing, you know, anxiety, depression, dealing with demons. These are like all again all aspects of concepts explored in from the Saturation series, but this one's a little bit more, I guess, more focus on upon that. But we still have 2 albums to go by, and I feel like they'll pretty much. This is pretty much like it is like Saturation 1, where it's highly experimental. It's just, you know, stepping the foot into the sound, and I can really tell like not a lot of people enjoyed Saturation 1. It's like they would say like that's the weakest one. This is pretty much probably gonna be the weakest one for this trilogy. Others might say, oh, this is the best one in the trilogy once everything's out. And then again, in terms of the other albums that we got, I still feel like this is the weakest. However, it doesn't change that it's a fucking badass album. With despite its little shortcomings here and there. I'm not saying I didn't say anything bad about really the tracks. Like they're not shit. I'm just saying that they're probably just around average or probably above average compared to the other discography that they have. So overall, I would probably give this like an 8.5, probably to lowest to an 8.3. For the album, which is still pretty good. I pretty much put, if I were to put the other saturations, I would probably put like from Saturation 1 would be like a 9, 2 would be a 10, and then 3 would also be like around a 10 to a 9.8, because that shit is pretty good too. But still, it's a good album, and probably will grow on a lot of people despite that. So that's my analysis for this album. I would like to thank y'all for watching, and I hope to God this doesn't get taken down or blocked throughout all the countries in the world, because I do spend a lot of time trying to record and give like a good reaction for these albums that I have never heard in my life, especially for an album like this that's very experimental. It just catches you off guard with like what to expect from Brockhampton. But nevertheless, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, next reaction, next Hugo reaction, whatever. See y'all. Peace.